Admiral Zexkara stood in front of the huge screen on his ship's bridge. His green skin looked darker than usual in the blue light from the displays. He was tall, even for his people, with long arms and sharp claws that clicked on the metal rail. He gripped. The Vorthan Empire had ruled the galaxy for over 2,000 years. They had never lost a real war. Today, that might change. "Sir, the human ships are getting closer," said Commander Killeneth. He was smaller than the Admiral, with bright yellow eyes that never seemed to blink. "They have 47 ships. We have 300. This will be easy." Zexkara did not feel so sure. The reports about humans were strange. They had only learned to travel between stars 30 years ago. That made them babies compared to most species in the galaxy. But something felt wrong about this whole situation. "Show me their ships again," he ordered. The screen changed to show the human fleet. Their ships looked different from anything the Vorthan had seen before. They were smaller than most warships, with smooth curves instead of sharp angles. The humans called their biggest ship the U-East Defiance. It was leading the other ships in a loose formation. "They look weak," said Killeneth. "Human metal is soft. Human weapons are simple. We will destroy them in minutes." Far away, on the bridge of the U-East Defiance, Captain Jake Morrison looked at his own screens. He was a tall man with gray hair and calm blue eyes. He had fought in many battles before humans ever met aliens. Now he was about to fight the biggest battle of his life. "Lisa, what do you see on their side?" he asked. Lieutenant Commander Lisa Brooks was his second in command. She was young, maybe 30 years old, with short black hair and quick hands that moved over her controls like a piano. "Player, 300 ships, sir, just like we expected. They are spread out in the old Vorthan battle formation. They think this will be like fighting any other weak species." "Good," Morrison said. "Pete, how are our engines?" Chief Engineer Pete Kelly was an older man with rough hands and a voice that sounded like gravel. He had worked on ships for 40 years. "All ships report ready, Captain. The new systems are working perfectly. The aliens have no idea what we really have." Morrison nodded. The truth was that humans had been preparing for this day for a very long time. When they first met aliens, they pretended to be simple and weak. They traded with many species. They asked lots of questions. They acted like students who wanted to learn. But they were actually gathering information about alien technology and military tactics. Every alien ship that visited Earth was carefully studied. Every piece of alien technology was taken apart and improved. Every alien military manual was stolen and analyzed. For 30 years, humans had been getting ready for war while pretending to be peaceful traders. "Captain," said a young officer at the weapons station. His name was Ben Carter, and he was only 25 years old. But he was the smartest weapons expert in the human fleet. "The enemy ships are starting to move into attack position." "Let them come," Morrison said. "Remember, everyone, we are not here to fight a normal battle. We are here to send a message. We want them to know that humans are not easy prey." On the Vorthan flagship, Admiral Zexkara watched his ships move into their attack formation. It was the same formation they had used to conquer dozens of planets. The stronger ships formed a line in front. The weaker ships stayed behind to finish off any enemies that survived the first attack. "Sir, should we demand their surrender first?" asked Killeneth. "No," Zexkara said. "The Emperor wants these humans destroyed as an example. Other young species need to see what happens when they refuse to join our empire." The Vorthan ships began to charge their weapons. Bright energy started to build up in their gun ports. Their shields glowed with protective power. 300 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy prepared to destroy what looked like a small group of primitive human vessels. "All ships, prepare to fire," Zexkara commanded. The first wave of Vorthan weapons lit up space like a deadly light show. Plasma torpedoes streaked toward the human ships. Particle beams cut through the darkness. Laser cannons fired burst after burst of deadly energy. It was enough firepower to destroy a small moon. But something unexpected happened. The human ships suddenly scattered in all directions. They moved faster than the Vorthan computers had calculated. They twisted and turned in ways that seemed impossible. The weapons that should have destroyed them mostly missed their targets. What? Killeneth stared at his screen. How are they moving so fast? Captain Morrison smiled as he watched the enemy weapons fly past his ships. Now, Lisa, show them what human engineering can do. Lisa pressed several buttons on her control panel. All 47 human ships suddenly began moving in perfect coordination. They formed a complex three-dimensional pattern that confused the Vorthan targeting systems. It was like a deadly dance in space. Ben, you may fire when ready, Morrison sighed. Ben Carter had been waiting for this moment his whole life. He had designed new weapons that combined alien technology with human innovation. The results were far more powerful than anything the galaxy had ever seen. Firing quantum torpedoes, Ben announced that the human ships unleashed their own weapons. But these were nothing like the Vorthan expected. The torpedoes moved faster than thought. They could change direction in flight. They found weak spots in enemy shields that should have been impossible to detect. Admiral Zexkara watched in horror as his ships began to explode. The human weapons cut through Vorthan shields like they were made of paper. Ships that had fought in 100 battles were destroyed in seconds. Impossible, he whispered. Their weapons are 4 times more powerful than our intelligence report said. Commander Killeneth was pressing buttons frantically, trying to coordinate a response. Sir, we have lost 37 ships. The humans have only lost 17. This cannot be happening. The battle was unlike anything the Vorthan had ever experienced. The human ships moved like living things, working together in ways that seemed almost magical. Every shot they fired hit its target. Every move they made put them in a better position. Captain Morrison opened a communication channel to the Vorthan flagship. His calm voice filled the enemy bridge. Admiral, this is your only warning. Take your ships and leave human space immediately. Do not come back. Zexkara felt anger and fear fighting in his chest. You think this small victory means anything, human? We have 1,000 more fleets across the galaxy. This is nothing compared to our full power. Morrison's voice remained calm and steady. Admiral, you seem to misunderstand something very important about humanity. There was a pause. In that silence, both sides could hear the sounds of damaged ships and emergency alarms. This is not even our full force. Those words hit the Vorthan bridge like a physical blow. If this small human fleet could destroy most of a Vorthan battle group, what could humanity's full military do? Admiral Zexkara looked at his remaining ships. More than half his fleet was gone. The humans had barely been scratched. And according to the human captain, this was just a small part of their real strength. For the first time in his long military career, Zexkara felt true fear. The news of the defeat at the Kepler defense line spread through the Vorthan Empire faster than light itself. On every world, in every space station, creatures that had never known fear began to whisper about the humans. Emperor Vorthik sat on his crystal throne in the great palace on Nexus Prime. He was ancient, even by Vorthan standards. His skin was deep purple with age, and his eyes glowed with the wisdom of centuries. He had ruled the galaxy for 300 years, without a single major defeat. "Bring me Admiral Zexkara," he commanded. His voice echoed through the massive throne room like thunder. When Zexkara arrived, he was no longer the proud military leader he had been before the battle. His uniform was torn and stained. A long scar ran down the left side of his face where flying metal had cut him when his flagship was damaged. He walked slowly, like an old man, even though he was still in his prime. Explain to me how a species that learned space travel 30 years ago destroyed half of your fleet, the Emperor said. Each word was sharp and cold. Sexgara knelt before the throne. Your Majesty, the humans are not what we thought they were. Their ships have technology we have never seen. Their weapons are more powerful than our best designs. Their tactics are completely different from anything in our military databases. You are telling me that our intelligence was wrong? Completely wrong, Your Majesty. The humans have been hiding their true capabilities. What we thought was a weak, primitive species is actually an advanced military power. The Emperor's eyes blazed brighter. How is this possible? Our spies have been watching them for decades. I believe, Your Majesty, that the humans have been watching us too. They knew we were studying them, so they showed us only what they wanted us to see. Meanwhile, on Earth, President Helen Martinez was meeting with her top military advisors in a secret bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The room was filled with screens showing star maps, fleet positions, and intelligence reports from across the galaxy. General Rick Thompson was a big man with gray hair and serious eyes. He had been planning for this war longer than anyone else in the room. Madam President, our scouts report massive Vorthan fleet movements. They are pulling ships from 12 different sectors. We count over 4,000 warships heading toward our space. President Martinez was a small woman, but she had a strong voice and stronger will. She had been elected because people trusted her to keep Earth safe. 4,000 ships. That is almost 10 times what we faced at Kepler. Dr. Karen Walsh, the head of the Advanced Weapons Division, stepped forward. She was a thin woman with wild gray hair and thick glasses. She looked like a grandmother, but she was actually one of the most dangerous people in the galaxy. Madam President, if I may speak freely? Always, Karen. The Defiance mission used less than 30% of our real capabilities. Captain, Morrison's fleet was equipped with our older experimental weapons. We have much better technology that we have not used yet. General Thompson nodded. Dr. Walsh is right. We have been very careful not to show our full strength. We wanted the Empire to underestimate us for as long as possible. What are you suggesting? The President asked. Dr. Walsh smiled, and it was not a friendly smile. I am suggesting that it is time to stop pretending to be weak. It is time to show the galaxy what humanity can really do. The President looked around the room at her advisors. All of them nodded. They had been preparing for this moment for 30 years. Very well, she said. Authorize the activation of all reserve fleets. Begin production of the Prometheus-class weapon systems. Send orders to every human colony and space station. We are going to war. Across human space, things began to happen that the Vorthan Empire could never have imagined. On hidden bases throughout the solar system, massive shipyards that had been disguised as mining operations began to reveal their true purpose. Automated factories that had been quietly building weapons and ships for decades started working at full capacity. On Mars, the Olympus Mons facility opened its doors for the first time in 20 years. Inside were 300 ships that had never appeared on any official records. They were sleek and deadly, equipped with weapons that pushed the limits of known physics. Captain Danny Price walked through the hangar bay of his new command, the UES Retribution. It was twice the size of the Defiance and carried enough firepower to level a planet. He was a young man, only 35, but he had been chosen to lead humanity's most advanced warship. Sir, said his first officer, Commander Rita Stone. She was a tough woman with short blonde hair and the kind of eyes that missed nothing. All systems are online. The crew is ready for departure. Good, Danny said. How many ships in our battle group? 87, sir. all equipped with the new Prometheus weapons. Danny nodded. The Prometheus weapons were Dr. Walsh's greatest creation. They used principles of physics that most alien species had not even discovered yet. A single Prometheus torpedo could destroy a ship 10 times larger than itself in another part of the solar system. Colonel Jack Stone was briefing his Marine battalion aboard the troop transport U.E.S. Hammer. Jack was Rita's husband, a big man with steady hands and a calm voice. He had fought in wars on 17 different planets. "Listen up," he told his Marines. "We are not fighting primitive aliens anymore. The Vorthans have been the strongest military power in the galaxy for 2,000 years. But they have never fought humans before. They do not know what we are capable of." The Marines listened carefully. They were all volunteers, the best soldiers humanity had ever produced. They had trained for years in alien environments and studied every known species fighting techniques. "Our job is simple," Jack continued. "When we board their ships, we show them that human Marines are the toughest fighters in the galaxy. We do not give up. We do not retreat. We do not surrender." Back on the Vorthan homeworld, Emperor Vorthik was receiving more disturbing reports. His intelligence chief, a nervous creature with 4 arms and multiple eyes, brought him a datapad filled with new information. "Your Majesty, our deep space sensors are detecting unusual activity in human space. Energy signatures we have never seen before. Ships appearing where our maps show empty space." "What do you mean, ships appearing?" "It appears the humans have been hiding military facilities throughout their territory. We thought we knew where all their bases were, but we were wrong. There are bases everywhere." The Emperor felt something he had not experienced in centuries. Doubt. How many ships do they really have? "We do not know, Your Majesty. Our best estimate was 500 human ships total. But if these new readings are correct, they might have thousands." Vorthik stood up from his throne. He was old, but he was not foolish. The humans had been playing a game of deception for 30 years, and they had played it perfectly. "Send word to all fleet commanders," he ordered. "The humans are not a primitive species. They are a threat to the Empire itself. This war will not be easy." On Earth, President Martinez made her final preparations. In a few hours, the largest fleet in human history would launch toward Vorthan space. It would be a fleet equipped with weapons and technology that would surprise the entire galaxy. She looked out her window at the stars and whispered, "You should have left us alone." The massive Vorthan armada moved through space like a dark cloud of death. 4,000 warships, the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history, all heading toward the small yellow star that humans called Sol. Admiral Veltar commanded this mighty force from his flagship, the Destroyer of Worlds. Veltar was different from most Vorthans. He was younger, with bright green skin and sharp intelligence. Unlike the older admirals, he did not think humans were weak. The destruction of Zexkarai's fleet had taught him that humanity was dangerous. "Sir, we will reach the human solar system." "In 6 hours," reported his communications officer. "Good," Veltar said. "Send orders to all ships. We will attack in 3 waves. The first wave will test their defenses. The second wave will break through their lines. The third wave will destroy their home planet." But Veltar was worried. Intelligence reports about human military strength kept changing. First, they said humans had 500 ships, then 1,000. Now some reports claimed humans might have even more. But that seemed impossible for such a young species in the Sol system. Humanity was ready. Admiral Susan Crawford stood on the bridge of the UES Enterprise, the newest and most powerful ship in the human fleet. She was a tall woman with iron-gray hair and eyes like steel. She had been planning for this battle for 20 years. "How many ships do we have ready?" she asked her tactical officer. 873 ships in the main fleet, Admiral." Another 300 ships are hiding behind the outer planets, and we have the reserve forces on standby. Crawford nodded. The truth was that humanity had been building ships in secret for decades. Every asteroid mining operation was also a shipyard. Every space station had hidden weapons. Every cargo ship could become a warship in minutes. Captain Danny Price was aboard his ship, the U.E.'s Retribution, leading the 1st Defense Wing. His ship was equipped with the most advanced weapons humanity had ever built. The crew was excited and nervous. They knew they were about to make history. "Danny," came a voice over the communication system. It was his wife, Commander Rita Stone, who was commanding the Luna Station Defense Forces. "Are you ready for this?" "As ready as anyone can be for the biggest battle in human history," Danny replied. "How are things on your end?" "All defense. Platforms are online. The moon-based weapons are charged and ready. If any Vorthan ships get past you, they will have to deal with us." Near Mars, Colonel Jack Stone was preparing his Marines for boarding operations. The plan was simple but dangerous. When Vorthan ships were damaged, human Marines would board them and capture their technology and crew. It was risky, but it would give humanity valuable intelligence. "Remember," Jack told his troops, "Vorthans are stronger than humans, but they are not faster. They are tough, but they are not smarter. Use your training, work as a team, and show them that human Marines are the best fighters in the galaxy." The first sign of the approaching enemy was detected by long-range sensors hidden throughout the outer solar system. The Vorthan fleet was huge, larger than anything humans had ever faced. "Admiral Crawford," reported the sensor officer. "Enemy fleet detected. 4,000 ships, sir. They are moving in standard Vorthan battle formation." Crawford felt her heart beat faster, but her voice remained calm. "All ships, this is Admiral Crawford. Execute Operation Rising Storm. Show the galaxy what happens when you threaten Earth." The human fleet began to move, but they did not move like any fleet the Vorthans had ever seen. Instead of forming traditional battle lines, the human ships spread out in a complex three-dimensional pattern. Some ships hid behind asteroids. Others used the gravity of planets to slingshot into unexpected positions. A few ships even dove into the sun's corona, using the star's energy to charge there. Weapons. When the Vorthan fleet entered the solar system, they found themselves facing something impossible. The humans were everywhere and nowhere. Ships appeared from behind planets and moons. Others rose up from the asteroid belt like deadly flowers. The solar system itself had become a weapon. Admiral Veltar stared at his tactical display in shock. "How many ships are there?" "We count over 800, sir. But more keep appearing. Our sensors are having trouble tracking them all." "That is impossible. Our intelligence said they had less than 500 ships total." "Sir, I think our intelligence was wrong about many things." The battle began when the first Vorthan ships opened fire on what they thought was a small group of human defenders near Jupiter, but the humans had set a trap. As soon as the Vorthan weapons fired, human ships appeared from all directions. Captain Danny Price led the attack on the Vorthan left flank. His ship, the Retribution, fired its main guns at the enemy. Flagship, the new Prometheus weapons tore through Vorthan shields like they were made of paper. "Direct hit on their command ship," reported his weapons officer, Lieutenant Ben Carter. "Their shields are down to 40%. Good shooting, Ben. Target their engine section next." The battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Human ships moved in ways that seemed to break the laws of physics. They used gravity wells, magnetic fields, and even solar radiation as weapons. They fought as if the entire solar system was their ally. Commander Rita Stone coordinated the defense of Luna Station while watching the battle through her telescopes. Human ships were dancing between enemy vessels, firing with deadly accuracy. Every shot seemed to hit its target. "Jack," she called to her husband over the radio, "you should see this. Our ships are tearing them apart." Colonel Jack Stone was aboard a boarding craft, racing toward a damaged Vorthan cruiser. "I can see the explosions from here. How many enemy ships have we destroyed? Over 200 in the first hour. And we have lost less than 50. The Vorthan Admiral Veltar could not believe what he was seeing. His mighty fleet, the pride of the Empire, was being destroyed by what should have been a primitive human defense force. "Sir, we have lost over half our ships," reported his tactical officer. "The humans are using weapons we have never seen before. Their tactics are completely different from anything in our databases." "How is this possible?" Veltar demanded. "They are supposed to be a young species with simple technology." "Sir, I do not think they are simple at all. I think they have been pretending to be weak while building the most advanced military in the galaxy." The truth was becoming clear to every Vorthan commander. Humanity had not been struggling to build their military for 30 years. They had been hiding it. Every trade mission, every diplomatic contact, every cultural exchange had been a cover for the greatest military deception in galactic history. Dr. Karan Walsh watched the battle from her secret laboratory on Earth. Her Prometheus weapons were performing even better than she had hoped. Each torpedo could adjust its power based on the enemy's defenses. Each energy beam could change frequency to penetrate different types of shields. "President Martinez," she called, over the secure communication line, "the battle is going exactly as we planned. The Vorthans have no defense against our new technology." President Martinez was in the command bunker, watching reports from across the solar system. "How many ships do they have left?" "Less than 1,000, and they are retreating toward the outer system. But we have more ships arriving every hour. Hidden bases throughout human space are launching their fleets." The most shocking moment came when the reserve fleets arrived. Ships appeared from directions the Vorthans had never expected. From the Kuiper Belt, from hidden bases in the asteroid belt, from camouflaged facilities on the moons of the outer planets. Humanity's true military might was finally revealed. Admiral Veltar realized that his mighty armada was facing complete destruction. The humans had not just defeated his fleet, they had made it look easy. "All ships, retreat to jump distance," he ordered. "We must report back to the Empire." But as the surviving Vorthan ships tried to escape, they found human vessels waiting for them at every jump point. The humans had predicted their retreat routes and positioned ships to intercept them. Captain Danny Price led the final assault on the fleeing enemy ships. "This is for threatening our home," he said as his weapons destroyed the last Vorthan battleship. "When the battle was over, less than 200 Vorthan ships escaped out of the original 4,000. The solar system was littered with the wreckage of what had been the most powerful fleet in galactic history. Admiral Crawford opened a communication channel to the entire galaxy. Her message was simple and clear. "This is Admiral Susan Crawford of the Human Defense Force. Any species that threatens humanity or human colonies will face the same fate as the Vorthan Empire. We are not a weak species. We are not primitive. And we are not afraid of anyone." The message was heard on every world in the galaxy. The age of human weakness was over. The news of the Sol System battle hit the Galactic Empire like a tsunami of fear. On Nexus Prime, Emperor Vortex sat in his private chambers, reading report after report of military disasters. In one day, the humans had destroyed the largest fleet in galactic history. But that was just the beginning. "Your Majesty," said his aide, a nervous creature with trembling hands, "we are receiving emergency communications from 17 different systems." "What do you mean?" "Human fleets have appeared at Kepler Station, Arcturus Base, the Vega colonies, and 14 other strategic locations. All at the same time, Your Majesty." They are attacking our military bases across the galaxy. Vorthik felt the weight of 300 years of rule pressing down on him. How is that possible? How many ships do these humans have? The aide's voice was barely a whisper. We do not know, Your Majesty, but it appears to be far more than we ever imagined. At Kepler Station, the same system where Captain Morrison had won the first victory against the Vorthans, a new human fleet had arrived. This one was led by Admiral Lisa Brooks, who had been promoted after her service on the Defiance. Her flagship, the U.E.'s Freedom, carried weapons that made the earlier battle look like a small skirmish. Commander Wong, she said to her tactical. Officer, what is the status of the Vorthan defenses? Commander Amy Wong was a young officer with brilliant tactical skills. She had studied every known Vorthan battle plan for the past 10 years. They have 200 ships defending the station, Admiral. Standard defensive formation. They do not seem to have learned from their previous defeats. Then let us teach them again. All ships execute pattern Delta 7. Show them that the first battle was not lucky. The human ships moved like a pack of hunting wolves. They struck from multiple directions, using asteroids and space debris as cover. The Vorthan defenders, still shocked by their previous defeats, could not coordinate an effective response. Captain Pete Kelly, the former engineer from the Defiance, now commanded his own ship, the U.E.'s Hammer. He had spent months upgrading his vessel with the most advanced human technology. His ship could move faster and hit harder than anything the Vorthans had ever faced. Sir, reported his weapons officer, their command ship is trying to retreat. Not today, Pete said grimly. Fire the quantum torpedoes, full spread. Let them know that humans do not forget when they are threatened. The Vorthan command ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Within hours, Kepler Station was under human control. Similar scenes were playing out across the galaxy. At Arcturus Base, Captain Ben Carter led a squadron of fast attack ships in a devastating hit-and-run. Assault. The young officer who had once been the weapons specialist on the Defiance was now one of humanity's most feared commanders. All ships follow my lead, Ben ordered as his squadron dove toward the enemy base. Remember, we are not just fighting for Earth. We are fighting for every human colony, every human child, every human dream of freedom. The base's defenses crumbled under the human assault. Vorthan ships that had seemed invincible just weeks ago now fled in panic at the sight of human vessels. At the Vega colonies, Colonel Jack Stone led the first human ground assault on a Vorthan-controlled world. His Marines landed under heavy fire, but they were ready for anything the enemy could throw at them. Move fast, stay low, and remember your training, Jack shouted to his troops as they charged across the battlefield. These Vorthans think they can conquer human colonies. Let us show them how wrong they are. The Vorthan ground forces were tough, but they had never faced human Marines. Jack's troops moved with deadly precision, using tactics that confused and overwhelmed the alien defenders. Within 6 hours, the human flag flew over the colonial capital. Back on Earth, President Martinez was coordinating the largest military operation in human history. From her command center, she could see the progress of battles across the galaxy. Human forces were winning everywhere. General Thompson, she said to her chief military advisor, how are our forces performing? General. Rick Thompson looked tired but satisfied. Better than we ever hoped, Madam President. We have taken 17 Vorthan systems, destroyed over 600 enemy ships, and captured 3 major military bases. Our losses have been minimal. Dr. Corinne Walsh entered the command center with a report in her hands. Madam President, I have the analysis of captured Vorthan technology. As we suspected, their weapons and defenses have not improved significantly in the past 200 years. They became overconfident and stopped innovating. While we spent 30 years improving everything we could get our hands on, the president said. Exactly. Our weapons are generations ahead of theirs. Our ships are faster, our shields are stronger, and our tactics are completely unpredictable to them. But the most shocking discovery came when human forces captured a Vorthan intelligence center on the planet Rigel. The data they found revealed the true scope of the Empire's weakness. Captain Danny Price led the assault team that captured the facility. Inside, they found thousands of files about other alien species, military plans, and most importantly, the Empire's real military strength. Admiral Crawford, Danny reported over a secure channel. You need to see this data. The Vorthans have been lying about their military power for centuries. What do you mean? They claim to have 10,000 warships spread across the galaxy. But according to their own secret records, they only have about 3,000 ships total. And most of those are old and poorly maintained. Admiral Crawford felt a cold smile spread across her face. So they have been using fear and reputation instead of real strength to control the galaxy. That is exactly right, Admiral. And now that other species see humans defeating them easily, the whole Empire might collapse. The prediction proved correct. Within days of the human victories, alien species across the galaxy began to rebel against Vorthan rule. The Zephyrians declared independence and destroyed the Vorthan garrison on their homeworld. The Crystalline Collective stopped sending tribute and began arming their merchant ships. Even small species that had been slaves for centuries started fighting back. Emperor Vorthek received reports of rebellions from 43 different systems in a single day. His empire, built on fear and maintained by the illusion of invincible strength, was cracking like a broken shell. Your Majesty, said his military commander, a scarred veteran of 100 campaigns, we must negotiate with the humans. If we continue fighting, we will lose everything. Negotiate? Vorthek's voice was filled with rage and desperation. The Vorthan Empire does not negotiate. We conquer or we die. Your Majesty, with respect, the Empire is already dying. The humans have destroyed half our fleet. Our subject species are rebelling. Our economy is in chaos. If we do not make peace soon, there will be no empire left to rule. But Vorthek was too proud to admit defeat. He ordered his remaining forces to prepare for a final assault on human space. It would be the largest gamble in Vorthan history. Earth. Human intelligence detected the massive military buildup on Nexus Prime. President Martinez called an emergency meeting of her top advisors. They are preparing for one last attack, General Thompson reported. Every remaining Vorthan ship is being called back to their homeworld. We estimate they will have about 1,500 ships for their final assault. 1,500 ships is still a lot, the President said. Dr. Walsh smiled her dangerous smile. Madam President, I think it is time to show the galaxy our real secret weapon, which is the ships they have been fighting so far represent about 20% of our total military capability. We have been holding back our best technology and our largest fleets. If the Vorthans want to fight our full strength, I say we give them exactly what they are asking for. President Martinez looked around the room at her advisors. All of them nodded. The time for restraint was over. Very well, she said. Authorize the activation of Project Deep Strike. Release all classified fleets from their hidden bases. And send a message to every human colony and ship in the galaxy. It is time to end this war once and for all. Across human space, the largest and most advanced warships ever built began to move toward Vorthan territory. The galaxy was about to see humanity's true military might for the first time. The final battle would determine not just the fate of Earth and the Vorthan Empire, but the future of every species in the galaxy. And humanity was ready to show everyone exactly what they were capable of when their survival was at stake. The final battle began in the dark space between stars, far from any planet or sun. Emperor Vorthek had assembled every remaining ship in the Vorthan Empire for this last desperate attack. 1,500 warships, the final remnant of what had once been the galaxy's greatest military force. "This is our last chance," Vorthek told his commanders over the fleet communication system. "If we defeat the humans here, we can rebuild the Empire. If we fail, the Vorthan Empire dies today." The Emperor himself commanded the fleet from his personal flagship, the Eternal Glory. It was the largest and most powerful ship the Vorthans had ever built, equipped with weapons that could destroy entire moons. Beside him stood his most trusted admirals, all veterans of countless wars. "Sir, our scouts report human ships approaching," said Admiral Zexkara, still bearing the scars from his first encounter with humanity. "But something is wrong with the readings." "What do you mean wrong?" "There are too many ships, Your Majesty. Our sensors detect over 2,000 human vessels, but they keep finding more. The numbers do not make sense." Vorthek felt a chill run through his ancient body. "Show." The main screen displayed the approaching human fleet, and what Vorthek saw made his blood freeze. The humans had not sent a fleet to meet them. They had sent an armada that dwarfed anything the galaxy had ever seen, leading the human forces. Was Admiral Susan Crawford aboard her flagship, the UES Enterprise? But this time, she was not alone. Beside her flew ships that the Vorthans had never seen before. These were humanity's deepest secrets, their most advanced technology. Their true military might finally revealed. The UES Titan was a ship the size of a small moon, bristling with weapons that could tear apart entire fleets. The U's Phoenix carried experimental technology that bent the laws of physics. The UES Victory was equipped with shields so advanced that enemy weapons simply passed through them without causing damage. "Admiral Crawford," came a voice over the communication system. It was President Martinez herself, speaking from Earth. "You have authorization to use all available technology. Show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." Crawford nodded grimly. "All ships, this is Admiral Crawford. Today we end this war. Today we show every species in the galaxy that humanity will not be conquered, will not be enslaved, and will not be destroyed. Execute Operation Final Storm." Captain Danny Price was aboard his new command, the UES Retribution II, a ship that made his previous vessel look like a toy. His weapons officer was still Lieutenant Ben Carter, now promoted to commander, and his crew was the best humanity had ever trained. "Danny," came Rita's voice over the private channel. She was commanding a squadron of the new Prometheus-class destroyers. "Are you seeing what I am seeing? If you mean the fact that we have more ships than there are stars in the sky, then yes," Danny replied. "How did we build so many ships without anyone knowing?" The answer came from Dr. Karen Walsh, who was monitoring the battle from her secret laboratory. "We have been building ships for 30 years, she explained over the command channel. "Every asteroid mining operation, every space construction project, every industrial facility has been secretly producing warships. We built them in pieces and assembled them in hidden bases throughout the galaxy." Commander Amy Wong, now captain of her own ship, the UES Thunder, led a squadron of fast attack vessels toward the Vorthan right flank. "All ships, remember your training. We are not just fighting for victory. We are fighting to show the universe that humanity deserves its place among the stars." The battle began when the first human ships opened fire from impossible distances. The new weapons could strike targets from light years away, using principles of physics that most alien species had never discovered. Vorthan ships began exploding before they even knew they were under attack. Emperor Vorthik watched his fleet being destroyed with growing horror. How are they doing this? Their weapons have longer range than anything we have ever seen. Your Majesty, reported his science officer, their technology is not just advanced. It is beyond our understanding. They are using quantum mechanics, dimensional manipulation, and energy sources we cannot identify. Colonel Jack Stone led the Marine assault on the Vorthan flagship. His troops used new power armor that made them faster and stronger than any. Alien warrior. They cut through the ship's defenses like a hot knife through butter. Secure the bridge, Jack ordered as his Marines fought their way through the massive vessel. We want the Emperor alive if possible. The Vorthan guards fought bravely, but they were no match for human Marines, equipped with the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. Within an hour, Jack and his troops had reached the Emperor's command center. Captain Pete Kelly commanded a group of engineering ships that were doing something the Vorthans had never seen before. They were capturing enemy vessels intact, using tractor beams and boarding parties to take control of entire ships without destroying them. We want their technology, Pete explained to his crew. Even though our weapons are better, we can always learn something new. Admiral Lisa Brooks led the assault on the Vorthan Center, her flagship cutting through enemy lines like they were made of paper. The Freedom had been upgraded with humanity's most advanced artificial intelligence, which could predict enemy movements and counter them before they happened. All ships, concentrate fire on their command vessel, Lisa ordered. End this war by removing their leadership. But the most shocking moment came when the human reserve fleets arrived. Ships emerged from hyperspace all around the Vorthan force, surrounding them completely. These were not just more ships. They were vessels equipped with technology that seemed magical. The UES Infinity could create copies of itself, suddenly, turning one ship into 10. The U's quantum could exist in multiple places at the same time, attacking from several directions simultaneously. The UES Destiny could manipulate time itself, moving so fast that it appeared to be everywhere at once. Emperor Vorthek realized that his empire was facing complete annihilation. The humans had not just hidden their military strength. They had developed technology that was centuries ahead of anything the galaxy had ever seen. All ships, surrender immediately, he broadcast to his fleet. We cannot win this battle. We cannot even understand how we are losing. But it was too late for surrender. The human assault continued until every Vorthan ship was either destroyed or captured. A mighty empire that had ruled the galaxy for 2,000 years was broken in a single day. When the battle was over, Admiral Crawford opened a communication channel to the entire galaxy. Her message was broadcast to every planet, every space station, every ship in known space. This is Admiral Susan Crawford of the Human Defense Force. The Vorthan Empire has been defeated. Their fleets are destroyed. Their military power is broken, and their emperor is our prisoner. But this message is not about conquest. It is about freedom. She paused, letting her words sink in across countless worlds. For too long, the galaxy has been ruled by fear. Species have been enslaved, planets have been conquered, and entire civilizations have been destroyed by those who believed that might makes right. Today, that ends. On Earth, President Martinez watched the broadcast with tears in her eyes. 30 years of planning, 30 years of preparation, 30 years of pretending to be weak while building the strongest military force in galactic history had all led to this moment. Humanity offers alliance to all species that desire freedom, Crawford continued. We offer protection to those who cannot protect themselves. And we offer a warning to any who would threaten innocent life. We are not the primitive species you thought we were. We are not weak, and we will not tolerate aggression against any peaceful civilization. Dr. Walsh smiled as she watched the reactions from across the galaxy. Dozens of species were already sending messages of alliance to Earth. The age of Vorthan. Domination was over, and the age of human protection had begun. Captain Danny Price looked out at the wreckage of the Vorthen fleet and felt a mixture of pride and sadness. They had won the greatest victory in human history, but at the cost of thousands of lives on both sides. "Rita," he called to his wife over the communication system, "it is over. We did it." "Yes," she replied, "but what do we do now?" "We are the strongest military power in the galaxy." "That is a big responsibility." Danny nodded. She was right. Humanity had revealed its true strength to save itself from conquest. Now they had to decide what to do with that power. The answer came from an unexpected source. Emperor Vorthok, now a prisoner aboard the Enterprise, requested a meeting with Admiral Crawford. When they met in the ship's conference room, the ancient ruler looked older and more tired than ever. "I have ruled the galaxy for 3 centuries, he said quietly. "I have conquered 1,000 worlds and destroyed countless civilizations. But I have never seen anything like what your species accomplished today. We only want to be left alone." Crawford replied, "You forced us to reveal our true capabilities by threatening our home." Vorthok nodded slowly. "I understand now. We thought humanity was weak because you appeared weak, but you were not weak. You were patient. You were planning. You were preparing for the day when you would need to defend yourselves. That is correct." "May I ask you something, Admiral? The fleets you used today, was this really your full military strength?" "CR,"